and we'll just dive in. I'm not even going to mute you guys because it's a tiny call. So, but I thought tonight, I wanted to start gearing content more towards like people who know how to hit Success Club, people who, are at Emerald or know how to like invite people onto the team, because then we hit this point, and I think it's a big learning gap where it's like, now I need to have the confidence to duplicate what I've done, to teach people what I have done. And, there are a lot of different things that I hear out there, and I don't think there's necessarily one that's right or wrong over the other, but this is what I've started doing in the last year that really works for me. And I've seen a notable difference in the success and the rank advancements of my new coaches. So I'm hoping that this is a system that I can then give to you guys. And I actually did even make a little like blueprint cheat sheet graphic that I was hoping to try to pass along. And I'm just going to share my screen and work off of that. Hang on here. Let's see. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it went away. Shoot. Now where did it go? Hang on. 1 second here. Let me figure this out. Oh, I can't minimize. Hey, Jody. Hi, Kim. Other people are hopping on. Here we go. Okay, now I think I can share it. I just can't click on it. Okay. You guys can see that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, except there we go. I'm going to move you guys over here. So, because I know that like, just because a coach says, yeah, I want to join as a coach, one, it doesn't mean they want to be anything more than a discount coach. Two, it doesn't mean that, they actually are ever going to do any of the things that we need to coach, right? Like there's all these elements, but I still think that we need to begin the process the exact same. Because what I've now learned, much like this whole journey is a compound effect, our discount coaches are also the exact same. Coaches that stick around for a long time, you never know when the timing is going to be right for them to decide to move forward. So I think that our starting point with all of our coaches needs to be really like equal. So anyway, I made this little blueprint. It's kind of like my 7 steps, as well as like the 2 key points that I like to keep in mind when I am bringing on a brand new coach. And I'm just going to take you guys through it, and I'll send you this to you so that you have it. And you can ask questions as we go. And I know that nothing in this journey is always perfect in system. Like every now and then you get someone who's ready to go and they follow through the system and it all flows really nicely. I get that that's not always how it works, but it's still good to have a guideline and not feel like, I think what I used to get stuck in is, one, what am I supposed to tell them? And it's no different when we're talking to someone who's curious now about joining as a challenge. We can like verbal diarrhea all over them and like overwhelm them so quickly. We can not give them enough. Like, there's things that we have to consider, I think, as we onboard. So this is my system. And the first step, I think, and for me, like my goal of onboarding is to make sure that I'm meeting them where they are at. Because whether they are a discount coach, a hobby coach, really wanting to do this, say they're really wanting to do this and yet not going anywhere, I think it's such a critical piece that we are there still as their coach, to coach them, to be there for them and help them achieve their goals, not our goals, their goals. And it's easy to, I think it can be easy to forget that and lose sight of that. And because you have your own goals and they're sort of a part of that. But I think our businesses grow a lot further when we help people up. That's what raises us to be better leaders. Okay, I am actually going to just mute everyone quick because I'm hearing some feedback and I just don't want it to be bad on the recording. So give me a sec here. Sorry. But just feel free to unmute yourself if you have questions, because again, it's a small group, so you can totally just ask away as we go. All right. Here we go. Back to it. Okay. And so what I mean by meeting them where they're at is really taking the time to understand who they are, where they are, even if that changes for them, knowing what they want. And also the other piece of that is that we have coaches that come on and they learn differently, and we have to be respectful of that. Like some people are real researchers and they just need info. They want all the info. They're going to go look for it anyway. So we need to be aware of whether they're one of those people that just needs all the info so that we can direct them to the right info, so that they can learn on their own at their pace. And then other people who really just need a lot of support and direction, as opposed to like, tell me all the information. It's like, tell me just what I need to know. And that's what we need to understand when we're meeting people where they're at, just taking that time to understand where they're at, how they learn, so that we can point them in those right directions correctly for them. And that's where things like reading leadership books about personal development leadership books are going to come into play, because they're going to help you grow as a leader and start to recognize those things in people a little bit better. That's what it's helped me do anyway. The second thing I like to keep in mind, that coaching means two things. It means direction and it means support. And depending on where someone is in this business and where they're coming in, you're going to have to learn to balance a little bit of both. Like, for example, brand new coaches need a lot of direction and support. They don't know anything, right? So they need a lot of both sides. Whereas like Jody and Erica, who've been around for a little while, and even, a lot of you guys on this call who've been around for a while, you don't necessarily need the same amount of that from me. You might just, for the most part, need support from me occasionally to check in, some recognition. And then if you're stuck on something, need a little bit of direction. You can see how that kind of waves. Once you get through the onboarding process, a lot of what people need is continuous support, and then the occasional direction or redirection when they get stuck. Okay, so let's just get into the meat and potatoes of this. So the first piece, and you'll see I've tried to label this like supporting, directing, so you can kind of see where those roles come in. But when someone first signs on as a coach with me, I support them first by welcoming them to the team in Successfit. And I process their refund for them. If they previously bought a challenge pack, it's the easiest thing for me to do, and it's really complicated for them because they don't know where the form is. They don't know what their coach ID is. There's a lot of pieces. They don't know when they first bought their challenge pack, things like that. It takes me literally 15 seconds to complete this form for people, whereas I imagine it would take someone 15 minutes. So that's part of my onboarding process. If they previously bought a challenge pack and now they're signing up to coach, that's the way I start, by supporting them. And then I think it just makes a seamless start. The next step, and again, that I always get, and this is for any coach, like discount or otherwise, the next step that they get is that I direct them to set up their websites and how to set up their EFT, their electronic funds transfer, and if they're in Canada, their W-8 BEN form. And I'm very clear on this. Like, these are instructions that I send, or if they prefer to have a call, we'll have a call. I have also, like you'll notice in Successfit, I have the pinned post, which is new coaches start here. All of this information is very clear with instructional videos in that. I don't think you necessarily need to do your own. You can point them to that, but it's a really simple conversation you could have, or you could write out the instructions once so that you can copy and paste it for people. But that is how you begin, by directing them. This is where you start to see the divide from like, okay, I'm just a discount coach. I still encourage my discount coaches to do this step, because at any point in time, they could have someone who's like, wants to order from them. I at least let them know what these things are so that they understand what would need to happen if they did have someone order from them and they wanted to get paid. Or they wanted to point someone in the direction of their websites. They might be like, yeah, tell me later. And that's okay. But I still think it's a little conversation that we need to have quick. Once this piece is done, if they are wanting to continue to work the business, we set up a call. And that first call is probably an hour long, just to give you an idea. And it's a combination of that, like support and direction. I begin by, and I call it support them in a GSR call, which is a getting started right call. Just so you know what that is. I think that a really important piece that we can all tend to miss is almost like that step 2 of the invitation process. It's taking the time to truly understand this person and where they're at. And I used to get really stuck on this idea of, I used to read in a lot of the Beachbody literature, it was like, know their why, like find out that kind of thing. And I just don't think people always know their deeper reason or their deeper passion for wanting to do this. Or it's like, I don't know, you told me to do it, there's not always like a deeper reason that they know right now. So I think this is just a perfect time for you to have a light conversation and understand like what they've enjoyed about the journey so far. Like, what do you like about being a part of a challenge group? Like, what do you think you'd like the most about running a challenge group? These things that you can start to understand. Maybe you have a binder for them, or like a section in a binder that you can jot down a few notes as you get to know them. Some of these people you might know really well, but as you go along, you don't always know people before you, like I didn't, and pretty much anyone on this call, I didn't know that well before we started doing this. And it's an important piece, right? It's a relationship business. So taking the time, I think at the beginning of that call in particular, just to get to know them a little bit better and what they are liking or disliking or what their biggest fears are about coaching, so that you can be aware of those when you're talking to them. The second part of that call, I spend purely in like direction mode, which is like helping them understand that the main goals of being a successful coach is hitting Success Club. And we do that by helping 3 people a month. If you can achieve Success Club every month, you can build a business on this, like no questions asked. I can help you. I know I can help you. So it's like, this is our first goal of mastery. Let's master hitting Success Club. And we do that by helping 3 people. And how do we find those 3 people? By completing the daily coaching activity tracker. So I spend the rest of the bulk of the call walking them through the daily coaching activity tracker and trying to see if they're willing to like set some goals on getting started on this, gauging how they feel about it, where they feel uncomfortable with it. So I can at least give them a little bit of coaching tips right up front on where to go add new people, what kind of things you could be posting, just really basic things depending on where they are in their learning curve. Some people come in and they're totally comfortable with posting, so you don't need to spend a lot of time there. Others have never been on Facebook. So you've got your different areas. As a coach, this is where our coaching piece really comes in. We're taking our own experience and what we've learned from each other as coaches, and we're going to use that to help our new coaches. So that's where I spend the bulk of this. And then I like to end that call by being like, okay, so the next step really is for you to be starting to use this activity tracker every day and setting a date to either co-coach or run your own challenge group. So like, do you have thoughts on when you'd like to run that group? And some people are ready to go right away. Lately, I've noticed some people are like, I'm just going to wait till the new year, and that's okay. And let them know that it's okay. They don't have to rush into anything. But I think having that conversation is really important, so that as you check in with them, you know how often to talk to them. Because if they're like, you know what, I'm thinking like 3 months down the road, I'll be ready to run my first challenge group. That's fine. But then you're not going to necessarily message them a couple times a week, which is sort of one of my next steps, to see how it's going and how you can help. But let's assume that these people are ready to, in the next 1 to 2 months, run a challenge group. Then this would be my next step. It's like, okay, our next step is to get you comfortable with this daily activity tracker, so that when you do your call to action post, which will be done 3 weeks before your challenge starts, you have people that are watching you, that you've been connecting with, that are interested in what you're talking about. So when and that piece, I think we kind of chat about. Where are we in this? I guess at that point we start sort of chatting about this specific form and maybe setting up our secondary call. So with my new coaches, I do like to talk to them once a week. Again, if they're working towards that first challenge group, because they have a lot of questions usually. And they're going to have people asking them stuff that they might not know about. So letting them know that you can have this call once a week, that they can contact you, obviously through Facebook Messenger, because you're there to support them, is a really important piece. And so after this first getting started right call, I like to have a call once a week pretty much until their challenge group starts. And I always make sure that I'm having a touch point with them and checking in at least 1 to 2 times a week, just to see again, like, where are you struggling? How's it going? How's everything else in your life? So it's not always about business. And that leads to kind of point number 6, which is, once their group starts, I want to know when their group is starting, because for me, I start recruiting in my first week of my challenge group, right? Like in the first week is when I'm messaging people, asking them how they're doing, asking them how they like their Shakeology, working with my challengers to see where their sticking points are. So that come week 3, I know these people are loving Shakeology, that they're going to stick with me in weeks 4, 5, and 6. So it's time to talk to them about coaching either as a discount or as a challenger, or as an active coach. And so I need to be able to say to my new coach who I've onboarded, okay, this is the time where you want to send this message to these people. This is what I'm sending to my coach challengers right now. And then come the 3rd week, I'm sending my new coach what I'm saying to people to recruit them. And then the process kind of cycles, if that makes sense, and duplicates. And again, at step 7 is that I continue to support them. Like most of my coaches, I check in with at least once a week, if not 2 times a week, if we're not automatically chatting normally. I mean, most of my coaches you get to be pretty good friends with, but depending on how independent they are or, how they like to learn, you don't necessarily check in with them every single week. It just kind of depends on the person. What do you guys think about that? Now you can unmute.
Bria, when you are getting a new coach or someone signed up and they've already got an HD order, do you offer them to buy one more challenge pack and explain that this is the last chance to buy the bundle, and if you want it, you do that? And then do you tell them to cancel their existing order before or after?
Before. I have sort of a script, and I can send that to you, I think, that basically outlines that. It's like when you sign up, you can either sign up with a challenge pack, but you're going to want to make sure you cancel your current home direct first. Let me know. I'll tell you how. Because I think that can get very confusing. I hear inklings of that on the wall, like the Beachbody wall. So I know that's probably something they're going to figure out as they grow, like how to make that so that people can control that a little bit more. That shake looks awesome, Monica.
I'm posting it. It's blueberry strawberry.
Oh, it's amazing.
I totally need to pick me up tonight.
Yeah.
With the auto ship. So is it like I try and get people to sign up as a coach right away, but 9 out of 10 times they want to try the product first and then decide. So then I usually say to them, okay, so, keep the auto ship option there. Right now I'm signing someone up today that said she's going to have the auto ship. And then I said, when you get the email, you can decide, because the email warns you now, like you're going to get auto ship to cancel. And I said, she wants to order it for her spouse. And I'm like, well, the best thing to do is then to sign up as a coach and then to have your spouse underneath you. And that way you get the 25, because then she gets the 25% off the purchase and the commission, right?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I think the best deal, like unless she's actually going to work the business, she doesn't need to sign her husband up as a coach. Like it doesn't, because then she's paying 2 coach fees. Really, like again, unless she's going to work the business, the most economical thing is for her to sign up as a coach and then order 2 things of Shakeology. She's going to get the best deal that way. And it's equal volume to you. It really doesn't make a difference unless she's going to be Emerald, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Would they order 2 challenge packs though?
Like I want her to order hers, and then I want her to order, I want her to sign up her spouse and get that one for her, basically. Like I want them, but I think she will go Emerald. So that's why I wanted to set her up. Yeah.
Then yes, then that's a good option. Like if she's interested, if you think that there's a chance she'd want to work the business, then I'd be like, yeah, go for it. She doesn't even have to sign him up right away. She could just have him as a customer under her. And then when she signs the other coach, she could sign him up.
Okay.
Depending on how she feels, right? How do you guys feel about onboarding coaches? Because I used to get really stuck on it, like all these welcome emails and all these things that people talk about and like, what am I supposed to say? I think an important piece to remember is that people who want to work this business will work the business. So it's not you if people come into this and aren't going anywhere. Like it's not you. It's like it's one thing if people are really putting effort in and not going anywhere, then that's a skill issue and we need to try. But chances are most of the time people are they're not following the steps and putting the effort in, and that's okay. But then we need to not spend our time there. We just got to go find more people.
Can you send me the welcome email and then that picture that you just put up? In the
Totally. Yeah. I don't send a welcome email though.
Oh, okay.
I add them. Yeah, I don't. I just add them to, I guess that's not true. I do send them info on how to set up
Okay.
their W8.
I don't do that. I say go to the Successfit page and follow the steps. Go to your online office and set up your site. Like I kind of do that with them, but I've never sent an email out or anything.
You know what? I don't think I ever send mine either. I usually just add them to, because it's pretty straightforward. And I sort of feel like this is a very entrepreneurial role. Yeah. If you can't take a few steps to, like, none of this stuff was in place when I started. And I know the same thing for you guys. As entrepreneurial people, we don't, like, I need you to tell me which way to go and then I'll go. But so I always feel that way. Like, if you can't take these few steps, then we're going to have bigger troubles. I think, like,
I think it has to be somewhat natural. I don't know. I've been really informal with it, but you can tell right away if someone wants to work it. I mean, I know discount coaches can change their mind, but like my coach that just started, I mean, she put a post out and she had like 40 people comment right away. So she just right away had courage. Yeah. And like from there, it's like, now I'm going to put her in the Emerald group. And she just started. But I think you just kind of know, like, if they're interested and they want the information, they're like,
Yeah, I agree.
And others are like, yeah, maybe I'll get there. And they never come on a call. Well, they're probably not where you want to focus.
Yeah. I think that it's nice. Like, I like to have these steps because for me, then I can always take people back to the steps. If they come in out of, if they kind of come out in and out of hiding, then I'm like, okay, where did we leave off or where do we need to start back? But I agree with you. Like, people will move at their pace, and that's where we need to love them at, is like moving at their pace. And Abby just shaved off his, it's the end of November, is it? That's why he came to give you a kiss. Anyway, my point is that I agree with you, Erica. Like, I think that people move at their pace, and that's why you have to continuously, with your own passion, reinvigorate your team by bringing on new coaches. And never, like, we can't, when you have prospect challengers and they're like, yeah, I'm going to order. I'm so excited. I had someone just tonight. I sent them the info to order tomorrow. And they're like, actually, I'm like, a week ago, you were all in. And that's just, we can't hang our hats on just one person, right? Because that happens all the time. Likewise with our coaches. So, and I think that if we can keep it light like that and remember that our people will find us who are ready, then it's a lot easier to handle and kind of just roll off your back as you go. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got for you tonight. How are you guys feeling about finishing out this year? It's hard to believe that 2016 is coming to an end, huh? It's been a good year.
How's everybody feeling about, with everybody seems to that I'm talking to is nervous about money right now. They've spent all of their Christmas money and they're not really wanting to spend any on themselves. Are you guys running into that?
Tell people that they should get people to buy them the pack or get gift certificates towards the pack. Just say, like my mom asked me, what do you want for Christmas? I never know what to tell my mother when she says that. And so many people are stuck when their spouse says, what do you want for Christmas? Like, we have everything. We should have this in account. Who cares? And people can say the gift of health, like a challenge pack. Like this lady today was like, I'm going to get that for my partner because that's going to be the best gift ever. And I'm like, great, but I have been hearing money a lot. And then I just turn it around. I say, do you know what? If you help a couple of people, which is how I got started, it pays for itself. And I just turn it around on them. Mm-hmm. And the worst case scenario, I say, get the free Beachbody on demand. And I think a lot of people who do, like some are saying December shopping tight, December. I say, you know what, why don't you do the free 30-day in December and then I'll put you in the January group. You can get your challenge pack January. You can start the year with a bang. And I have quite a few now. I've already created the January group because I'm saying that so much. And I'm doing a countdown to January for those people. And I'm like, you know what, you're in the Beachbody, you're in the Beachbody on demand for 30 days. They have the and 9 out of 10 people keep on the demand anyways. And then they get a challenge pack. Because they see all the ads for it. They have all the advertising done for you. All the verbiage is done for you on Shakeology, on everything. It's all there. Activate, Shakeology.
That's great, Monica. I think those are all great tips. I know, something my husband used to say to me is like, a challenge pack is 2 wrappable gifts under your tree, right? So whether it's for you or for someone else, like I feel like we're early enough in December, like as long as you're hitting it hard now with your connections, that should be what I say to people, like, you know what, you should ask for this for Christmas. Like, it's a great gift. It's kind of a great amount for like an adult gift that you might get from someone who is important in your life. And, and then you can really hit it hard when you're ready. I think that's the angle that I take with the money piece as well. It's like, that's okay. We can also talk. Often people get money for Christmas, and that kind of helps. So then at the end of the year, but I do like to have Success Club locked in this first week of the month. We'll see. We'll see. The last 2 years, there've been a launch. 3 years. The last 3 years, there was a launch in December. 2 years? 3 weeks. I think it was Hammer and Chisel last year, right? And then Max, Insanity Max 30 the year before, and P90X3 the year before that. So yeah, this is the first year we haven't had that. So I'm a little nervous.
I have lots of people that want to do quarter fours though in January. Like I think January is going to be so busy, and people will order in December for January.
Yes, we hope, right? Yeah, I would just keep pushing your own results, right? Like because if you have results to show, it's going to inspire people like as they go through the holiday season. So at some point in December, you'll have a shot at getting them, I think.
I think a great thing to say to somebody whose reason is time is get the challenge pack now, get on Shakeology for December so that when you're socializing with them, we used to get sick every year at Christmas or just after Christmas. And it didn't happen last year. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So get on Shakeology, drink it through the holidays. You'll already have the program, jump in January.
Yeah.
I'm not getting the money pulled up yet, but I'm sure this will be the last week.
I know. I feel like this will be the last week too. I might be starting to get it. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. This was a great call, and I'm going to hit recording. So